and another day of not counting calories. Cheers. It's the best thing on the Chick-fil-A menu. It's the yogurt parfait. Argue with your mother. Hey friends, so I didn't do a whole lot of talking on video during this day when we went to the NFL Hall of Fame. I'm going to give a more detailed recap later on in the video, but I wanted to just come on and kind of give the video some context. So we got to the NFL Hall of Fame the day after our second day at Cedar Point. And it took us probably like just a couple hour drive to get there. And I honestly had the best time at the NFL Hall of Fame. It was super interactive. You'll see me put on some shoulder pads here, acting kind of crazy. But I love just how preserved everything was. Just seeing the history of the NFL and how it really became America's game. I love how they honor Walter Payton, and just to learn more about who he was as a man and why to get that award is such a high honor, and then to just see how they honor these men, whether they were coaches or players or front office people. It was just really nice to see these men get their flowers for going out and putting their lives on the line every week for our entertainment, and I don't take that lightly. So I definitely got to play some Madden too, and I'm always going to be a competitor, so you'll see me get a little frustrated. But after we left the Hall of Fame, we went to this ice cream shop that was very close by. I'm pretty sure this is also owned by a former NFL player, I think an NFL Hall of Famer. It was so good. The people that worked there were so nice. And then we went and got dinner at this winery. And that dinner was 10 out of 10, highly recommend, before we headed up the road to Columbus, where we spent the remainder of our trip. So we have made it to Columbus, and we are in the Columbus Garden of Roses. I gotta give it up to P, y'all. Whenever we go on vacation or travel anywhere, somehow he manages to find a rose garden everywhere we go, and I just love roses. I love rose gardens. We got here last night. We drove down after the Hall of Fame. I haven't been on here to recap in a while because we have been on the move. And when I say on the move, like seriously on the move. But yeah, the Cedar Point was awesome. I don't know. I don't think I came on here before we did our second day at the park, but it was insane. So I actually got on the first row of 3 rides, and it was thrilling. Like, before Wednesday, I had never gotten on the front row of a roller coaster. That was my first time, and I got on Siren's Curse in the very first row. Now afterwards, I would say probably the last row might be more scarier on that roller coaster than the first row. But the first row was pretty scary because when it tips over, you're like the first person to see, like, it's just like, oh yeah. And you know it's going to be a good ride when it's not just like a buckle, but it's like a harness. That's how you know you about to be on for a ride. But it was great. I also rode on the first row on Maverick, and what was the other one? Maverick, Siren's Curse, Maxim XL. Yeah.
Magnum XL.
Magnus. So, I think
Magnum XL. No, Magnum 2000.
Magnum XL sounds like a condom.
But that's what I think it's called.
No, I think it's called Maxim. I don't know.
Maximum.
Whatever that one is, that's the one we got on the front row. And at this point, you know, I'm fearless. I got my hands in the air, like, and we ended up, it took us 2 days, but we rode every roller coaster in the park. And I will say, like, overall, Cedar Point is a really great amusement park. And what P pointed out to me is it's an amusement park, not really a theme park, because there wasn't really themes like you go to Six Flags and they're like DC Comics. They have Peanuts, but like it wasn't like incorporated like throughout. It was mainly just for like the kiddie stuff. But the roller coasters were like, I loved them. So if you do like thrill rides and roller coasters, Cedar Point, place to go. And like all the roller coasters were like very different. My favorite out of all of them, Siren's Curse, just because it has that element of like tipping over. I've never seen that in another roller. Have you ever seen that in another? I've never seen that in a roller coaster. It's like very unique. Maverick, because it was so fast. It was fast and it had a lot of dips. It was just like hold on to your hold on to your seat. And that one surprisingly didn't have a harness. It had a secure belt, and then it had a lever, but it was wicked. And then Top Thrill 2, it like goes all the way up in the air and like spins. First it goes up, and then it goes back, and then it comes back again. I've been on roller coasters like that before, but this one, it went by really fast. And then there were some roller coasters where it was just like, okay, these are for people who are like just starting to get into, like, have never been on a roller coaster. I can't remember all of their names, but there was like 3 or 4 of them. It's like, this is a good like roller coaster introduction. But yeah, after we finished our second day, I literally said we weren't going to be there until 10 p.m. the next day. We were definitely there until the park closed. So I spoke too loud and I spoke too proud because we were there until the park closed. But we did do the family meal plan again, but we only bought one. So it was like $47 for one meal plan, and you could get one meal and a snack every 90 minutes or something like that. And we shared everything. Like, I don't eat a lot for real, and I wasn't trying to eat a lot because I already am not counting calories and like not watching what I'm eating, so I just ate less of it. The first day we probably walked, I had like 25,000 steps, and the second day I had like 21,000 steps. So I was well over my step count, or my like step count goal for the day. And then afterwards, yeah, at the end of the day we came back. We ate right before the park closed, so we didn't need to get dinner. We went to the barbecue spot. It was pretty good. It was all right. I didn't have no complaints. I just had the wedges, a little piece of the cornbread, and that was it. But I wasn't hungry because we had other stuff during the day, like Dippin' Dots, chicken tenders, stuff like that. And then yesterday we got up early, not too early, but we drove down to Canton to go to the Hall of Fame. And the Hall of Fame was awesome, like very well put together. It was also very like historical, so it was like a museum in addition to like the Hall of Fame. But it was just incredible, like this, like oh, look at that. What's that red bird with the orange beak on? A cardinal. Just saw a cardinal. That's what I love about gardens. Like, you'll see every type of animal, bird, bug. Saw a chipmunk. But back to the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame was amazing. I didn't know when you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, you get this gold jacket. You get like what is it called? A statue of your likeness. Huh?
A bust.
A bust. I never do that word. Did y'all know that word? A bust? It's so cool. You get a ring. It's just such a high honor. And they had some crazy stats. When you first walk in, there's this like huge graphic, and it gives you all these facts about Hall of Famers in general, and also artifacts from the people who are getting inducted that year. And some interesting stats I didn't know. The state with the most Hall of Famers is Pennsylvania. But you would think it would be somewhere like Texas. Texas is number 2. Or California. I think California was like number 4.
But just the history behind football and all of that kind of stuff. And then we sat down for like a little presentation. It was really good. And I think it might have cost like $45 per person, per adult. It was worth it though, to like have the experience, go through the museum. The only thing that would have made it like even better is if there was a Hall of Famer there. That would have been, that we would have been spoiled with that. But yeah, it took us about 2.5 hours to get through everything. We spent a little bit of time in the gift shop. I didn't buy anything, but P had gotten some like limited edition Black College Hall of Famer postcards. They did have this exhibit area for Black College Hall of Famers. They had, so Hall of Famers who came from HBCUs, which is also like super very cool. I played Madden for the first time in like, I don't know how long. I was very excited. I did not win, but you know, I was doing my thing. But yeah, it took us like 2.5, 3 hours to get through it, which I feel like was a fair amount of time. And then we stopped at this vineyard in Canyon randomly. And you know, we Californians, we from wine country, so we gonna see who got what. The grounds were beautiful. There was like water. We went there because we saw that they had lamb chops. Come to find out, they have like a rotating menu, and it didn't matter because everything we ate was delicious. I had this like amazing peach goat cheese and like blackberry salad. It was like, who, with almonds. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna try to make this salad. Hopefully it comes out good. We don't know, but we're gonna try. And then this bread, I'm so happy I wasn't counting calories. And then I had like some grilled shrimp, like bruschetta pasta. It was all very good. And then we left there. So it took us 2 hours to drive to the Hall of Fame. We ate there in Canton, and then it took us another 2 hours to drive down to Columbus. Now, funny story, sidetrack, story time. We were on our way to the Hall of Fame, and we are literally 5 minutes away. How many minutes? 5 minutes away. And I saw a couple state troopers, and I just figured the driver had saw them too. But by the time I saw them, he would see them like a half a second later, so I didn't feel the need to say like, hey, like, you know, play it cool. But this last one, 5 minutes away. Woo! We drove fast. He hit the brakes. He was just like, I was like, nah, he didn't get you. He was like, nah, he got me. You know that moment when you know you about to, you gotta take your L? But honestly, the interaction was as good as it could go. And I feel like what we were talking about, and about just getting pulled over and the climate and stuff, like, I feel like a lot of people let social media taint them into belief, or into fear, into thinking what may or may not happen, and people go into these situations with preconceived and sometimes pessimistic notions. But I think when you are, you know, rooted in faith and kindness, and, you know, you approach it with humility. And I think we were talking about with any situation, I think humility can save you a lot of times, and just be a saving grace, because when you come into a situation like aggressively, like, that doesn't set the you got to set the tone for positivity. And I feel like there's no way to feel in that way. Now there are, like, granted, there are like case scenarios, but I walk by faith, so I don't have those fears. I don't have those issues. But it was a chill interaction, and it makes for a good story to tell later. It was also a growing moment, you know, relationship growing moment. It's those little moments that really help you grow your relationship. So that was funny. But yeah, when we got into Columbus and the hotel we were staying at, I still hadn't met my move goal or my step count, because we've been sitting all day, like, riding in the car, and we walked through the Hall of Fame, but it was like very slow walking, and it was a lot of just standing. So your girl had to hit the gym. Your girl had to hit the gym at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And after I had finished what I thought would close my ring and my step goal, I was just like, I almost made it. And then I heard that voice in the back of my head, it was like, that's not what you said you was going to do. You didn't say you were going to almost make it. You said you was going to make it. And I was like, all right. So I made it. I closed the ring. I got to close the ring again today. But today we've been active from the jump. So, and the place that we're going tonight, so tonight we're going to see a comedy show. We're going to see Dave Chappelle and Friends. And it's in, what's the area? Yellow Springs, Ohio, which is like an hour from here. I think the show's supposed to start at 8, but the doors open at 7 or something like that. So it's like a little bit of planning to make sure that we get there on time, leave room for error and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to take it easy today. Try to close the move ring before we get out to our, go out to the show. But all around, this has been a crazy good trip. Like, I have no complaints. And yeah, so heading out now from the Rose Garden, and we'll see what else happens today. More to come. Okay, friends, we are waiting for valet at the Meridian because we are headed to the main event. So we are on our way to go see Dave Chappelle and Friends, and it's about an hour away from Columbus. It's actually just outside of Dayton. We didn't stay in Dayton because we were flying out of Columbus anyways. So, but this is like our last little like kind of like activity event for the trip. We're headed out. Dave Chappelle is my favorite comedian of all time for a number of reasons, but I'm excited. I'm ready to laugh so hard. I have high expectations. I'm expecting to like laugh my behind off. And I honestly don't know what my favorite part of the trip has been so far. It's been just like really an all around just great trip. Like, great trip. But yeah, headed to the main event. I have all my cameras with me. I have my recording camera that I'm on right now. I have my film camera, which I had to reload and put a new roll of film in. It's a 35 millimeter. I also had brought my Fujifilm. I'll probably end up using a Fujifilm because it has a flash on it and it does the best at night. The 35 millimeter, the film I have in it right now is more of like daytime film, but I wanted to bring it anyways just in case. But yeah, we're about 35 minutes out. It's an outdoor situation, so I have the blanket from the plane, but I wore pants just in case, you know, bugs and stuff. So we'll see. Okay, friends, so as soon as we pulled up, signs everywhere, no phones, no cameras, no nothing. So I'm signing out until the event is over, and I'll let you know how it went.